They played Consulate, they played Coastline, they played Consulate twice, actually, and then Border last week. So far, nothing has been shown on Clubhouse. And if you look at the past, Clubhouse has not been a super map for Reciprocity. At least that was back when it was Cloud9.
The other thing, too, to keep in mind is that Reciprocity didn't have to compete in the 6 invitational qualifiers. And due to that, there's no sample size on their map pool. For teams such as Orglis, Dark Zero, Accelerate, Rise Nation, and Space Station, all 5 of those teams ran a marathon through the 6 invitational quals. And because of that, there's footage on almost every single map for every single one of those teams. Reciprocity, in large part and in sole part, due to their victory in Montreal at DreamHack when they were known as Cloud9, they didn't have to compete in any of those matches. Interestingly enough, Reciprocity's 2 bans will be both Glaz and Pulse, targeted directly at various members of Evil Geniuses. On the Glaz, you won't have Necrox playing it. You're not going to have Geo playing it. On the Pulse, you're not going to have Canadian playing it either. And then a Bandit ban is pretty sensible in order to counter another hard breach ban, which means that your only hard breach denial is going to be mute.
It just is supposed to make things a bit easier for you, but EG's adaptation might be the clash in this position just to try and slow down any and all hard breach. We'll see if that sticks through. No, Geo's going to move around to the Mira, which is, of course, liberated by the fact that both the Pulse and the Bandit are banned in this situation. So, what do you have as an option for both teams, but specifically EG now, is that you can counter hard breach aggressively. And what EG sometimes do, or used to do back in the day here on Church, is the wall that you see Canadian reinforcing now, what they used to do is reinforce the left and the right and leave the middle open, and it'll put a mirror window on each side. Pretty strong position for them to use. In this situation, though, they will reinforce the whole wall, and they might even put a mirror window in the middle of it, as this will make things a bit more complicated for you as a Thermite to open things up. Now, one thing I want to say that teams have not really used, which is not very well known, is on that church wall, if you end up reinforcing from the hallway and not from church, the red bars on top actually pretty much completely deny to make impossible any grenade chucks you'd like to throw above them to push away a player behind them, kill them, or destroy any huge challenges back. And I have not seen anyone other than Lockett using it, who are the people that kind of figured it all out, which is a bit surprising, I would say. Meantime, just guys continuing in here on the drone. Make sure there's no roam play early on from EG, which is a sensible move to make, just in case there is such a plan being hatched by the geniuses themselves. But no, EG is going to play mostly turtle style on the bottom floor, and nothing wrong with that. It is, of course, downstairs in the armory and the church, and it really allows you to run that sort of play. And Fox is going to detect one player on the main stairs. Might actually go for an aggressive take here, as he does have Skies to support him from the opposite end. And can he find it? He should be. And yeah, Canadian's just going to go down, just sitting there. Did you think he was alibi or something? I don't know.
Hard holding an angle, looking in a different direction. I think he was trying to hold the pool table, not as close as the bathroom side where Skies emerged from. And the dock will be no more the lone ACOG on Evil Genius' side, and the only real significant sustain that you would have as well. That's a good entry for Reciprocity, and they do it within a minute as well. Standard fare for the buck as Skies has gotten the lead-off kill. He'll go towards tearing everything apart as best as he can. Foxe peeling off of that one reinforced panel, likely done to possibly try and see if a C4 is going to go off. And there you go. Beautifully timed as Fox gets away from the hatch, and Geo throws the Nitro Cell just a little bit too early, essentially netting nothing from that.
And guess what? That's why you saw the pulse ban from Reciprocity. A very smart way of doing things. Young almost finding the headshot there, but Fox is going to eat a bit of damage, and those 2 impacts actually used right into the wall. Not much will be done to deal with Fox in this situation. Now he's ready to open up the last part of the hatch, and there you go, it will get destroyed. Sometimes that hatch actually does not open up, which is a bit frustrating, but see the entire wall being blown open by EG, and I'm very curious to see how that works.
EG does this quite commonly on Clubhouse, especially with Necrox and the telltale sign of smoke yelling out of mags, as Necrox exhausts all of his shotgun ammunition on a number of occasions to open up this wall. A lot of it is because you have EG playing the Pulse, so Troy has information at his hands, Canadian rather, his name is Troy, has information at his hands in order to be able to give the calls to the rest of his team, so the wall being opened up, not that inconsequential. Anywho, Reciprocity beginning their assault. They have command of the hatches, and they are all lined up in a variety of different directions. With toxic canisters from Necrox will hold him at bay, but Fox and Retro collect 2 big kills. Young is there, tears through Retro, leaving just the Legion and the Jaeger to hold on. Young in a very advantageous position with NVK having the hatch above. Oh, a beautiful shot from Young, but Planter going down as Laxing covers. And Reciprocity will lock out round number 1. Great teamwork, as Skies doesn't even need to get that diffuser kit down on the ground. Laxing, full control, and the position of Young being given away by his kill onto Mark in blue. There was nowhere for the Legion to go, and Reciprocity convincingly take round number 1.
Yeah, well done by Reciprocity to support their teammates in that final push and having every single angle basically locked down. At that point, you can't really blame the Legion for not being able to do much, as there's literally only one place for you to try to contest, and is being watched by 2 players. You get 1 kill, you're not going to get the second unless there's a bit of luck sprinkled here and there. Skies will just switch around to the Buck, as EG will yet again go down to Church and Arsenal, and I'm curious to see how EG will change things around, or will they stick to the same setup? No, Canadian will go for the Echo. Makes a lot more sense here. Maybe it is to support any roam play. Probably is to deny any.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
attackers. He's going to have to find a safe spot to sit in, as you saw the push came down mainly from the armory and the main hallway. Mirror window in Church was able to get a decent chunk of information back to EG, but unfortunately at that point, short on manpower. There's not much that can be expected of them in that situation. Geo will have a mirror window here, as that was exactly what was smoked off by the Captain in the previous round. They will not reinforce the entirety of it in Church. Canadian will set himself up with a shield, protected by the big black box. And it makes a lot of sense. That box, a lot of attackers will also move in and plant behind, because you can't be shot. It's a very safe position to be in, and once you set yourself there as a defender, it works out very well for you. But Canadian is actually going to play in the back of Arsenal, which is a pretty good spot as well. You're very well protected. You have to worry about potential Zofia plays, for example, from blue. Not the case here, so you won't have to worry about that in such a situation. And Canadian actually even holding on to their tunnel, just in case there's a play being played in the back of the line with Reciprocity.
Now, I mentioned when we last saw Evil Geniuses in action, the flexibility that Canadian can bring to this team. He played something like 7 or 8 operators over the course of, I believe it was the 9 or 10 rounds that we saw from EG last time. Well, he's rocking the COG this time. He's going from the COG all the way over to the Echo. He'll have some recon work that he can do with the Yokai drone that was positioned inside of dirt. So that was something at his disposal that he can use to collect that information and not have to commit a body nor any presence over there. It's one of the benefits of having these 2 Yokai drones for Echo now. One thing that Canadian won't do is try to provoke a fight early on. Beautiful pixel angle here from Skies, who was able to take out Canadian, as I'd mentioned. But he's looking all the way down to blue, and there's nobody there. So they'll just be looking down in vain. A couple shots from Mark, smartly to try to draw somebody out as Foxay works on the main hatch inside a bar. Mark, with the warning shots down blue, would have alerted somebody to the presence of a body at the top of blue, which could have provoked someone from EG to look up and then be jumped upon by Skies. Ultimately, it does look like it's going to be another Church take this time around. So a kitchen take on the previous round, but Reciprocity looking like a moto drop, and possibly presence in that area will be the go-to.
Yeah, Reciprocity here probably have it in mind where it's like, okay, well, EG saw what we did in the previous round. They probably have now a way to deal with that. We're going to change things around and now try to attack from moto, but oh man! Skies gets blasted to the skies. Geo will take him out. This time the C4 will connect. Don't have any more C4s available for EG. That is the downside of the setup, and not, of course, having the Bandit. You see the wall even on the side that is completely soft. The strategy that I was talking about before that EG likes to play every now and then. Fox will get tagged a bit by the smoke in the back, but Necrox will have to fall to beyond the position he was, close up by the reinforced wall. He's afraid of any fire from Fox. You see the reinforced wall as well on the side, and Young, though, set up very close to the black box. Will get the kill on Fox. All advantages here for EG. As Reciprocity are falling one by one, the Mira will even challenge the back. 70k Necrox a bit more damage. The shotgun's still alive and still doing damage. Necrox will find him. Diffuser dropped on the floor as the last man alive is laxing. Both him and Mark will go down. The Shark hunted down to extinction.
It's a flawless round from Evil Geniuses as well, and a really good hold that all came down to EG knowing that a church take was coming.
Yep.
Long before Reciprocity knew that EG had moved all their pieces towards that side of the map.
They didn't even need to yokai.
And I mean, it's a lot harder to be able to pull off a church take if you can't control blue. It's extremely difficult, because if you can't get a hold of blue and you have a mirror window positioned on that church wall, every single part of your strategy is going to involve either the main stairs or the moto hatch, in which case your actions, they're completely telegraphed by the strategies that most teams employ on the site, but furthered by the information that's available to the defenders. When you've got a mirror window situated to give you full coverage of the bottom of main stairs and everybody who drops through moto as well, ends up being a really good look for the defense. So Evil Geniuses played that perfectly. Reciprocity did not have the pressure on blue that they needed to try and pinch in and collapse on the members of church and then cut off Arsenal, as a lot of teams will do when trying to take church. Also, hurt by the fact that you didn't open up that church wall either. And because of the mirror window and because of the plays of Evil Geniuses, that rightward wall inside a church, there was very little chance that Reciprocity was going to be able to crack that open.
Yep.
So the setup for EG paid dividends through the latter half of that round, but the way that EG responded was also pitch perfect.
Yep. And that's what I mentioned at the beginning of the very first round. Well, they go for their usual setup of leaving one soft wall either in the middle or on the side, and exactly how they adapted for the second round. Now, what's interesting here to see is that Canadians bring in the alibi. So
third operator.
This is a site that I think alibi works very well on, because you have a lot of windows. A lot of people will pre-fire into them without being really able to destroy the prismas directly, and because sure, there's a Thatcher being brought here, but you're not really going to be using EMPs to deal with the prismas. It's kind of a waste of the utility there. But it is still something that EG will try to play to their advantage. As Skies comes up, and there you go, third one's the charm, skeleton key, the hatch opened up. And of course, even if you drop your drone into an alibi prisma, it still detects you. So the Maverick there, Fox, droned in, they know exactly where he is, and it gives you that jackal-like ping to know that he's right above you, basically. In the meantime, Retro wasting no time. Look at that, already opening up the jacuzzi entrance here in the wall. He is being watched by Geo in the meantime, and there's no IQ for Reciprocity, so trying to take down that yokai drone is going to be a nigh impossibility.
Now, we have seen Reciprocity run an IQ in their lineup, but Skies has been the buck through 3 rounds so far, so you don't really have the ability to spot all those electrical gadgets. Geo could be able to grab a kill onto the Thatcher of laxing on Repel, but Geo plays a dangerous game, almost loses it, as Skies takes out NVK on the other side of the map. So the buck doing solo entry work over towards the CCTV and cache side of things. Double mirror strategy here from EG has been employed by a couple teams inside a bathroom. The problem with it is that if you lose the mirrors, then you lose almost complete control of Master, and you get pushed back into positions where the attackers could be aligned, aka construction area, and that logistics office. So, Geo taking even more damage, losing quite a bit of HP, does not bode well for Evil Geniuses, but they have the time and the wherewithal to set Canadian up here on the flank. But Skies will try to flush him out and miss most of his shots. That C8 recoil, absolutely wild, but he gets enough to cut through Canadian, leaving EG in tough position. And a predicament that EG will have to try to persevere through, as the plan from Retro about to go down. Marks from that alibi onto Mark the Shark, as Necrox realizes plan is going down, sprays in. He can't shake Retro though. He doesn't really know where the Thermite is playing. Even though he's been yokai'd, Retro, right now, a man determined to get the diffuser down. But EG is pinched in. They've lost complete control. But Reciprocity out of nowhere with 3 huge kills, and 2 from Foxay will be all it takes to overwhelm the defenses on Jim and on Master. What a play from Reciprocity. And despite his best efforts, Retro unable to get that diffuser down. Reciprocity will regain the lead on Jim Master.
I think he's going to still be happy with the results. But still, it is a pretty good round there for Reciprocity. I have to say, having Skies and Fox on the team, we were going into the season being like, is this actually going to work? And it is. It is working very, very well. Fox on his own was able to do so much work, and really, in some games in Season 8, single-handedly put C9 higher up in the standings.
Attackers need
Here,
to locate
he's
and
got the
defuse
support
as many
for it,
bombs
and this
as
is
they can.
why Reciprocity are definitely a force to be reckoned with, not only in online play, but as they get closer to 6 Invitational, which is, guess what, around 2 weeks away. This is definitely going to be a team here. We'll go, though, to Cashier as EG will try to defend on the floor here. They do not have access to the Bandit, which is why you'll see not, I guess. The Mutant, however, is also not brought up by EG, so they're pretty much letting that wall, pretty much any reinforced wall, go. They're gonna have to deal with them in other ways. Impact tricks potentially. I'm not sure if Necrox is bringing any of those impacts. If not, then it's gonna be pure gunfights and information play. Yeah, only the barbed wires. You still need kind of a bit of it to support you, especially in the hallway or mainly on the stairs back. So Reciprocity should have a bit of an easier time. As you see, just one operator being removed from play can have a very distinct effect on how things go for the defense. In this case, we'll also have a spot on Canadian upstairs, and we've seen a ton of dock play in this spot. Why? Bulletproof camera. Number 2, stim pistol. This is something that I believe even Dirk Zero were highlighting. Okay, you're going to be up there, you're going to take a lot of damage. You have the big bonus of healing yourself. You can sustain, and what do we want off of people playing on the catwalk and garage? A minimum is to waste as much time as humanly possible for the attackers.
Not too much of a surprise to see that ACOG played in the garage, as you mentioned. Doxing a lot of plays is pretty standard. His pick rate was sitting at around the high 30% or so. Oh, not a great idea from Mark, as he's going to put the asphyxiating bolt down quite perfectly. Canadian Wake just walks away with 2. Reciprocity's impact in that garage will be parked for the time being.
Guess what? He's back up to high health. He's back up to full.
This is one of the advantages of putting a dock up there. A lot of teams will run a Maestro, who, for the record, is unbanned, but has not seen a lot of play from EG. I think a lot of that is very similar to when Mira had a high ban rate, and when she went unbanned, teams still really wouldn't play her, because you practice without her.
I don't think it's only that. It really is this. I thought I was 100% with you until I had this conversation with Mint, and his idea was, no, it really just is because we want the Doc to heal himself up in that position. And you look at it, you look at the results, it's definitely showing, and Canadian protected, not for long though. Skies will take him out finally, but look at the amount of time has been wasted, and even finds a second one in an MVK. A huge bit of play for Skies, as he now has full reign over the garage. He can walk right on in. Pretty much uncontested, as Retro is setting up for a potential take on the site. 49-second mark.
This is still great for EG's side of things with the Mira, the Smoke, and the Echo available. Those are the 3 operators that you want in the home stretch of any given round. Best not to lose one of them. The Toxic Canisters will do a great job of cutting down the entries from Reciprocity, while the Yokais, of course, able to knock you out of a plant. Let's not forget the Nitro Cell from Mira. Retro will try to bait out some utility, but Skies will be there to try and keep hold of him. Young dispatches the Nitro Cell, and then Retro as well. So 2 things tossed from that round in particular. Skies still just waiting by the open panel. He'll have to rely on Laxing to come on in. Often referred to as the dynamic duo. Laxing will need to get the cross and cover of his brethren. Laxing just holding great angle. Skies falls off the plant to try and open things up and put on more pressure, but Laxing gets cut down to size by Young. On his back, getting hit by the Yokai. Skies realizes that with only 1 second left on the clock, he's going to have to go for the frags, but EG is better at it in that position with 3 bodies to have Skies to work through. Good hold by EG. They'll answer back. In this match, ever a seesaw, up and down, 2 apiece.
Good play here from EG to tie things up, even with the advantage that Reciprocity was afforded later on with Sky's impressive plays. Still not enough, as again, you're still playing in the back, you still have more information than the attackers, and you have time on your side. C4 is available, all that. We've seen the amount of work that even, for example, Corey did for Mocket in the previous EU Playdate a couple of days ago. Even if you're in the back, even if you're on the back foot in manpower, a C4 well-placed and well-timed can change the entirety of the round. That's what happened there. Skies couldn't watch angles, multiple ones in that position, and get the plant down at the same time. He's a good player, but I don't think he's good enough for them.
I was very surprised that there was no juggle there from Reciprocity to anticipate a C4 getting tossed out. You heard Retro get hit by the yokai, and then the C4 followed. You know that a C4 will be unsheathed at some point. And Skies was in a position where he couldn't really do all that much. The mirror window that was positioned on the cache wall left very little opportunity, given that server rack, or the CCTV rack, rather being in the way, meant that there was really nowhere for Skies to go. I don't even think he had a frag grenade available still at that point because he burned both of them trying to take Canadian from below. Because of that, Young could just hang out underneath the mirror window, he had the soft wall next to him, and there was no pressure that could be applied from any of the attackers to try and take out that C4, and Retro was a dead man the moment he walked into that room. Now, given that it's round number 5, and EG were successful on both Church and CCTV, well, would you look at that? Church has once again unlocked. And that's where EG will go. It took them 2 opportunities to get it the first time, but they looked a lot better. It was a flawless round, actually, for Evil Geniuses.
Well, Mark, gonna clear the top floor so far. As we're all done by Reciprocity to drone things out and give them information. The thing that was very lacking by from Reciprocity in the past is the fact that they droned very heavily early on in the round, and then that would completely fade away as the round progresses. That problem has been fixed. Seeing the work that the team's been putting on the board, and tied up with arguably one of the best teams in the world. So far, the best team in the region in this online phase of the season. Fox, in the meantime, taking his time, making sure that he can, at this point, destroy the hatch. We've seen him do that in the past. I just need a bit of info who's playing from below. And Skies, in the meantime, has a perfect drone for such a role. Camera in the bottom should get taken down here as Necrox watches. Still has the same softball next to him, actually, to spot them down. I'm surprised that Reciprocity so far, given the metagame, have not run a single Ashe or Zofia, but we might see that change as EG move over later to the attacking side.
It's been interesting because you've actually put Laxing on that Thatcher, which he's played quite a bit, but it also has put Mark on more of a frag role, and you've put Laxing on more of the post-plant flank watch kind of role, which isn't exactly a position that we always see Laxing in. But of course, Reciprocity has some fluidity in that roles. They're a team that can change things up when need be. What will be very interesting for Reciprocity as we approach the final moments of this round, with just a minute to go, is how this team combats Evil Genius's soft wall down on the church wall. They could not, Reciprocity could not do much with it last time. And it was a huge hindrance for them, because they just didn't have what it takes to translate over. Fox A struggling with the hatch will be felled by Young, who picks up his 7th kill. And Young looking for yet another onto the thermite of Retro, but Retro will outduel him. And that'll put us back at a 4v4.
Geo now looking for his own kill. It will connect, but how is he just taking so many bullets? Retro with so much blood coming out is still alive and will drop the hatch. Go instantly for the defuse.
10 seconds
The player above him to support his Canadian will ferry over his Yokai drone, but no, it gets stuck in the ceiling, and now it's not enough. Retro will get the kill on Geo and the plant down. The mirror trying to contest up close, and Retro will still find the kill against Canadian. It's Necrox to go down again to Retro, who's just putting this entire round on the board. And that is absolute demolition for Retro. Beautiful bit of play. Not only does he demolish EG in gunfights, but he also gets a plant down.
And he gets the ace as well.
Yep.
So Retro, not only doing good work with utility, and as you mentioned, get the plant down, but collects every single kill in that round.
I'm so sorry. So far, you've gotten no ace.
I will never cast an ace. I will never cast an ace in my entire life.
This is like the 2nd ace I've ever casted, so it's completely fine.
I'll never cast an ace in my life. Doesn't matter if it's you. Doesn't matter if it's Kicks. Doesn't matter. Even if I bet you
Even if you cast solo.
I was going to say, I bet you I will be doing a solo cast, and I will still somehow manage to flub casting an ace.
Yes.
It'll happen, and my mic will die or something along those lines. But Retro did get the early lead-off kill onto Young when Young was playing through the hatch, and then picked up the 4 kills in the post-plant. Unfortunate for Canadian's position with that drone. It hit the rim of the hatch that leads into kitchen. So it bopped up, it hit the railing of the open hatch, and came back down. Now, given how close it was in timing, it would have been down to the absolute wire as to whether Canadian would have been able to hit the planter or not. Retro did seem to get it off right as the Yokai drone hit the ceiling. So regardless of where that drone hit, it still could have arguably been a successful plant for Reciprocity.
10 seconds.
That's always a hypothetical. There's no way of knowing for sure. But all I do know
Seconds to insertion.
is that, well, the very first church take ended up coming from Reciprocity in round number 1
Attackers are moving out to
through
locate a
dirt
bomb and
and through
defuse it.
kitchen. It worked out well. EG did not respond to it accordingly. Reciprocity changed up their strategies and willingly went towards a church take rather than an arsenal take, and ended up getting cut down to size. It was a flawless round from EG. Reciprocity goes back to all reliable and instead decides to go for a kitchen drop and an arsenal take, and it works yet again. Now, mind you, a lot of that was Retro just simply holding off every single member of Evil Geniuses, but it still worked. So we have another church take for Reciprocity, another church defense for Evil Geniuses, as this will be their 4th crack at the same site. It'll be also Evil Geniuses' final defensive hold before we change things around. But Clubhouse, Milos, Reciprocity on attack have taken 3 rounds.
That's pretty good.
That is a very impressive feat.
Hey, that's pretty good. It is a really good situation, not only because of the fact that this is a map that is more favoring the defenses. Usually most maps are slightly, but this is, I believe, the most, and then Villa right after it, if I'm not mistaken. So you still have to keep in mind the fact that for the attackers, they don't have a glass, they don't have a Habana. I think the glass ban will definitely affect EG a lot more than Reciprocity, as we've seen Necrox on that roll so many times, as you mentioned in the pregame show, basically. But here, having to deal with no Habana, Fox is doing a pretty excellent job with all things considered. Even the fact that sometimes, hey, you're going to get C4'd, and there's not really much you can do about it. Even with the most perfect of droning and callouts for your team, mistakes will happen. Fox trying to use his utility as best as possible, as by the halfway point should be able to break it open. Nah, it's a bit of a, yeah, that's way too much loss there. But still, that's more than enough. All you need to do is get that hatch open.
I don't think the way that Reciprocity's been using Foxy on Maverick, though, requires him to do anything outside of that. We saw him trying to poke holes on the church wall when it was a church take, but that was really the only additional Maverick torching that we saw, and it's not really a requirement.
3 rounds on the attack is already more than enough for Reciprocity. Any round they get after this is just a bonus.
Yeah. So, deceptively, we have 30 seconds left in the round, and very little has been accomplished. Still utility on the board for Evil Geniuses. Lots in hand for them, even though there is some drone work going on. As I'll flush out the Mira player over on blue, it'll be a quick drop, and NBK is right there with Canadian Young to help support him. Skies is just in. He sees the Yokai, but nobody from EG seems to be aware. Canadian will take out Foxy on the drop, but Skies, you gotta hurry. You gotta hurry, buddy. Mark takes out Geo, traded off by Young, and Skies will get gunned down. Laxing is in the middle of nowhere. Can't even pick up a frag onto Young, and EG will lose 1 body, but that is it. They will keep things even. Very similar to the Rise and Rogue match. Both teams will exit the first half tied at 3 apiece. But that's a victory for any attacking team on Clubhouse, and in such is a victory for Reciprocity.
So, what will change though now? For EG are on the attack. We'll see if Reciprocity, are they gonna go for the dock again? Okay, I think they were gonna use the dock as like, or the echo to trick into a dock and then play cash first, but they will go for it regardless. So no mute, they'll opt off of it. Of course, that means you lose out on the C4, but it makes a lot of sense to bring the dock anyways. You have the castle as well, which you kind of would like to have. It's just a bonus for you on the site. Not the most important part of it, I have to say, but I wonder if Retro is bringing a bulletproof camera as well to combo with Skies, or is he going to focus more on impact? As, of course, both the dock and the castle can bring such utility, and it's not out of the ordinary to see both the operators bringing a bulletproof camera each. I'm not sure if our good friend and observer Marcio can show us such information. We'll take a look at Retro for just a second. It was actually performing really well. He is bringing a bulletproof camera, and take a look at Skies.
5 seconds
Our
remaining.
survey says he's got a bulletproof
Interesting that Maestro is unbanned
Attackers
and
recovered the diffuser.
you're going to bring 2 bulletproof cameras instead of just bringing 1 Maestro.
On this site, I completely agree with you.
This site, yes. More interesting, though, because Maestro does tend to excel on that Gym Master defense as well as on CCTV cache. So that'll be something to look at if Reciprocity does end up winning Church. They go to one of the 2 upstairs floors. What's going on? Why have we seen so little of our favorite Italian defender? Well, maybe second favorite, because technically Alibi is also a defender. So
Yeah, but he is my favorite defender.
I know, but that's because they based him off of the way you look.
Very true.
Anywho, entry from Evil Geniuses will be upstairs on the 2nd floor, and like all maps, you clear top down. Canadian had 1 drone in on him, so he's going to head down the main stairs. And as is pretty commonplace with Church, neither team will have anybody defending on that 2nd floor. We didn't see it from EG, and we certainly don't see it now for Reciprocity. But with Canadian being able to buck open some of the floor, looking down towards the main door on the basement, he spies a Castle barricade. Now, Castle was not 6-picked onto. Skies used the 6-pick onto the dock, so they knew that there would be a Castle there, but that is an operator that you often see people 6-picking off of, because it can dramatically impact the way that the other team 6-picks onto if you're trying to not be confused by my thought process.
It's all clear, to be honest. But what I really want to highlight as well for EG is the fact that they're bringing 2 grenade operators. They have a lot of grenades here to deal potentially with those bulletproof cameras, but the way that they've been set up, they pretty much force you to get very aggressive. And I have to say, both bulletproof cameras, none of them are set up to hold down the hallway in the middle. One is right behind this Castle barricade. You'll see it on the other end of it by the jukebox. And there's also another one that you saw on blue, exactly there. What a wonderful observer, able to just give us all the info like that.
Now, the Jaeger, or not rather the Jaeger, that's an interesting outline. How did that not? When your grenades just apparently do not work. It looked like the Jaeger's silhouette, by the way, because of the head box, but that's just because of the headgear that Retro's using. So I was going to say, they don't have a Jaeger on the board. Retro will have to peel off, though, as the EMP will disable the camera. And now Retro might be under fire here, knowing that there's a couple bodies that are going to be staring over in his direction. Tossing a grenade over the church wall is Canadian, but there's relatively little impediment for EG over on this side of things. But information being given out from Reciprocity, they know that there's going to be a push over on the church side, and they've lined up and stacked up accordingly. Skies with the ACOG is going to be able to look all the way towards the bottom of the stairs if need be, as Fox 8 has depleted all of his toxic canisters. Capitao, a staple for both these teams so far, will try to cut off an entry point. Fox 8 unable to rodeo around the door, but Laxon gets 1, Skies 2 for EG. There's Geo taking 1 down. Skies there, Young trading off. Mark holds on, but he has the diffuser in front of him, and Geo will need to come collect it. But all it takes is the Valkyrie to go prone. The timer always gives the defenders the victory, and Geo is nowhere close to retrieving it from the middle of the action inside of Church. And Reciprocity 4-3 right now.
I have to question many things that happened in there, including the fact that that grenade.
So question them.
First of all,
okay,
why did that grenade not blow up the castle barricade? It's magic. We don't know. We'll put that aside for now. Grenade in the back was not able to do much. That was chucked in from the hallway into Church to pull any player away. That was set up right by the reinforced wall. Number 1. Probably no information on the player in the back. We still saw a rotation at the end of it. Grenade lost.
Attackers
Sure.
need to
You got
locate
4
and
grenades.
defuse as
It's
many
fine. It's a bit of
bombs as they
redundancy. Bulletproof cameras will always give him information, even though Fox basically foiled his advantage that he had with the shotgun. Got a bit too bossy in that situation. Got shot down pretty easily. I also want to credit it to the fact that he put a red dot sight on that shotgun, and it basically blocked off half of the screen. That's another thing that you kind of have to keep in mind every now and then. Where did the rest of the push at EG come from? From blue. What happened? They were running through their own smoke. You never smoke in front of you, you smoke your opponents. You run through your own smoke, guess what? You're going to get shot down, and that's exactly what Skies did. The fact that Skies was able to get kills like that is huge, and what is that?
What the hell is this?
What?
So this is gonna hinge upon holding Garage. The moment that Reciprocity loses Garage, this entire scheme unravels. So basically, you've shot out the bottom of the floor.
Yes.
You're gonna have nobody playing visibly inside of CCTV. You'll have a couple bodies inside of cache, and then you'll have one person or two people playing inside a garage. Because you lose that mirror window on the garage wall, you lose control of garage, where you will likely have the dock of Mark playing, as we see exactly right now with Laxing not too far off. The moment that you lose control of garage, you are in so much trouble.
Yes, no question about that. And EG are definitely going to want to capitalize on that the instant they can. But what are Reciprocity trying to bring to deal with all of this? First of all, they have a mirror window as well that looks through it. Again, from garage in. They have a dock to support Mark in this situation to help out with any pushes that come in from the main doorway. And again, you have a huge angle to look through if you're the dock upstairs. And look at Mark. He has a perfect position to shut down Young's Ash if he would like to push. What does he also have? Foxy downstairs to support him. That's 3 players set up here. The impact, though, from Fox will not connect, and he's going to be forced out of position. So that is number 1 on the checklist for EG as they set up for this garage take.
Mute isn't banned, and I'm surprised to not see a mute being played here in this position because it could really rob intel from Evil Geniuses. But I mean, this is an all-or-nothing approach. Foxy will need to be able to land his shots. He misses on Necrox, even though Necrox has used both of his asphyxiating bolts. So good utility usage here to draw out Necrox's 2 most valuable damage-dealing bolts. Still has the smokes available, but EG, right now, really struggling to be able to take garage, and especially that Hibana ban from EG. They banned Hibana. But Hibana would be so useful right now to be able to hold off a line of sight instead of just having the one thermite. Mark, extremely aggressive. He'll cool off Young, and now Foxay also taking gambles. But EG have sight control. Inside, NVK takes out Skies, and now Canadian will toy with his food as Retro, not too far off, gets finished off by NVK. Necrox is there as well, but holding the stairs will prevent Laxing from getting back to sight. Diffuser down, Foxay will tussle, but NVK unable to win the fight. But there will be multiple bodies there as a bit of a celebratory flash from Canadian as Geo credited with that final kill. And EG reads the defensive setup and says, all right, garage is yours. We'll take everything else. They push through construction and they waltz right into cache and they get out like bandits.
And that's the problem with relying so much on garage, right? You put so many bodies, so much utility in garage that really, you can hold it. That's okay. Guess what? That's not the site. That's not where the bomb is. It's on the other side. Well, you can't fight it because there's only the window. Because remember, they had a fully reinforced wall in the server with a mirror window. So the only place for you to fight any attackers is by that small window from garage into servers. Very predictable position. And that can be easily used against you. Because remember, any hole works both ways, right?
Need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
A bit of a problem when you suddenly have a blitz walking up to you and just shoots you down, you and your entire team. Why? Because you're so focused on garage, you forgot that this is not called, you know, CCTV garage. This is called cache.
I think a blitz walking up to you is too harmless and a statement, and really downplays the terror that is instilled in the hearts of foes when blitz is charging at you head on.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night and just, oh, blitz. Okay.
5 seconds to insertion.
You know, when it's raining outside and there's some thunder, that's exactly what I feel like, and it's harrowing. It is a scary sight, to say the least.
So a small change here. Retro has put the mirror window on a separate side of the wall, which I believe is very easy to get shot just through the main doorway. And once again, Mark will be there to try and keep anybody from being able to take garage control. But one thing that Reciprocity is not doing is not putting all of their eggs in one basket, because EG can just blow up the basket.
Look at what they're bringing.
Yeah, EG's bringing a Montane in order to try and take garage control easier, because EG very smartly understands that Reciprocity is going to put more investment in cache. They're going to put more investment inside of construction. And because of this, they're going to need to wrestle garage away at some point, because now garage is going to be slightly weakened, but will still give a distinct advantage to the defenders. So the attackers bring a Montane, and they're going to bring the Capitao as well. As this one asphyxiating bolt goes just over the head of Mark and cannot land what needs to be better placed. Capitao's position of Necrox given away as he crosses through the door. Foxay is there to stare at both the Montane and possibly grab the door if we see Necrox push in. Foxay is taking a little bit of damage. Likely we'll see him fall off. Foxay taking even greater damage as Mark Oh, takes out Necrox, but then gets smited or smoked by Young, if I may use the term. This is complete garage control now for EG, and this is dangerous and very, very bad for Reciprocity if they can't fight CCTV coverage the way they need to.
Guess what? Garage is taken. They have a spot on the one player that was trying to play from downstairs. That's the Jaeger in this case, Laxing. NVK is watching for rotations. There's also Canadian to help out in that. There's a mirror window. Your smoke is going to do nothing against that, unfortunately. And Gio's going to open up the wall whenever he wants. Canadian from below, going to check out a grenade. And there you go, Retro's on the floor. What are you going to do now? Fox is going to have to fall all the way back. And the wall is still soft on the side. Laxing will take a bit of time to put back the barricade on the opposite end, but you see the entire side entry here has been opened up. Laxing spring all the way down, actually finds Gio, who's down in this situation. Canadian, though, will connect, taking down Fox.
Attackers have
That shut the plan down completely as Laxing unable to be figured out where his position is. Oh, Laxing in a great position, but he distracts them long enough for Retro to toss a C4 over, and the airmail will be caught and received. Loud and clear, Retro holding those red stairs, revived after Canadian had downed him with the grenade, but Retro will get the last laugh as he chews through Canadian, using the barricade in front of him on the top of the stairs. Once again, Reciprocity with the lead, and EG has not led a single round this game. They have either trailed or tied.
Important for Reciprocity to keep up the momentum and at least get ties, and in this case, they go ahead, as you mentioned. What are they going to go for? Gym Bedroom, and it's a site that they actually have had a decent chunk of success on in defending. Now, contrary to what we saw EG bringing, at least so far, in the 6th pick, because we don't have one just yet, or seems like Reciprocity will stick to the lineup. There's no Echo that we saw EG bringing, which is going to mean your bodies are always going to be moving around, and that's something that is very important in my opinion for
Defenders,
Bedroom
protect your bombs from
If you rely
being
too
by
much on
attackers.
players holding in the back, playing in the bathroom or something like that, you can get very easily cornered off and their angles watched, or because of the fact that Capitao has been such a big pick, an Echo, a Maestro, they're not really going to have that much of, or as big of an effect on the round as they usually do, being as excellent as they are as operators. But still, you have to watch out for that. And this guy's at least going to make that main stairs window difficult to deal with.
10 seconds
And
to
just
go.
so far, Reciprocity setting up a pretty darn solid defense, though.
5 seconds
That armor
to go.
panel, I believe, is not going to be set either on the gym or in the hallway behind it, the usual hallway of death, but there is one on the main bedroom window.
Interesting that Reciprocity willingly went to the site, given that church is unlocked.
Very good point.
So Reciprocity were perfect on that site the very first time they went there. They have an opportunity to go back, but they don't do it. It's very interesting. There's obviously some strategy behind that. EG probably expected them to go to church, though EG's not the kind of team that will bring a lineup that can do more than one site. Also, with the sledge that's being in the hands of Canadian, those castle barricades, all of which are on exterior windows, will be made quick work of. We've already seen one of the castle barricades fall, and that's the one on the stairs leading up from the main lot, or from the main bar. You'll be able to get that sledge, just tear through all of them quite easily. Though Canadian is lined up here on this jacuzzi wall, which has a mirror window on it, which might prove to be very difficult to deal with. It sounded actually like the mirror window might have been ejected. Hard to tell. It actually looks like it has been. Yeah, it has been. It has been ejected. So that poses a problem to EG, but Young will just be able to use the extra.
Can you impact that? You should be able to impact that.
Foxy's going to try.
Yes, yes.
He does not get it. Oh. Foxy coming so close, and he's 0 for 3 on impact tricks so far in this game.
Ooh.
But he'll be able to hunker down inside a bathroom.
The rim of the mirror window really blocking it in this case, and unfortunate because the easiest way to deal with any sort of weird plays or impact tricks like that is to either crouch or rotate in from above, and that's why the mirror is set in this position anyways. Laxing trying to find anybody on the jacuzzi balcony is nobody's in there just yet, just roaming around and being very sneaky.
It's a good play by Laxing to possibly see if somebody's there, but It looks like EG is going to largely rotate over, but no, now they're coming back in, and it's going to be an absolute bull rush with Geo taking the lead. He has 3 Candelas at his disposal to completely blind, razzle-dazzle anybody that decides to try and come through the site. This is poor Foxay, who's going to be on the receiving end of it. And there goes 1 Candela as he tries to keep hiding inside of the bathroom, but he turns around, he pivots, and he shreds through Geo, looking for another into the Thermite, who is just so close with an asphyxiating bolt, trying to keep him down. NVK will not be able to make it in the building as Mark is there with the C4. The Capitao pushing on up, but no! Retro's there, the double shotgun action, and EG's perfect streak of getting every single point in every single match is about to come to a close, unless Canadian, their captain, can prevent his victory for Reciprocity. Comes around the corner, but Skies will catch them all, and EG will drop the victory. They will at least tie with Reciprocity if Reciprocity doesn't finish them off here. But those are points on the table, and EG's streak is over.
Yeah. Sky is definitely looking out for the quest to be the very best in that situation. Reciprocity are getting closer and closer to it. As, again, this will guarantee them a single point, and more importantly, as you mentioned, this will stop EG from progressing too far from the reaches of Reciprocity. As you get that first spot in, you know, a few more wins, you guarantee yourself a position for quite a bit.
I believe Reciprocity entered the day with 13 points, so a victory here would bump them up to 16, and they would actually take sole ownership of first if they are able to close out this round.
Yep. And guess what? Next week, they play Dark Zero, and EG play Orgless. So keep that in mind as well.
Attackers
Next
need
week.
to locate and defuse
Tomorrow.
as many bombs as they
Yeah,
can.
next week is in less than 24 hours.
Yes, that's how we work in Rainbow6.
Or rather, well, for the people watching this VOD, next week could be today.
Yeah, in like a few hours. That aside.
Match on the line here, and Church was still unlocked. So we asked in the previous round, why didn't they go down to Church? A Gym and Master take in which EG really didn't muster all that much. I think they got 1 kill, that was it. I think it came from the asphyxiating bolt of Necrox. But now, Reciprocity are on match point on the supposed best site for the defenders, the Church basement site.
And that actually starts to make sense why Reciprocity went for Gym Bedroom first. Then went down to Church, right? It's like, okay, we can at least somewhat guarantee the site. So we're going to play the off-site one, just in case.
If they had gone down to Church and won it, then they would have had to go to Gym Master because Cash would have unlocked for that 12th and final round. So if they had gone to Church and won it and then lost the next one, they would have been on the very final round on CCTV and Cash, which, mind you, they lost the first time, but they seem to have a pretty good recovery, based a large part on Laxey's ability to roam and come back while the rest of the team rallied around the push from EG that came up on the red stairs. And also the fact that garage control was not as important as it was in the previous defense. So, Canadian's entry pattern is very similar. He'll just go on in and drone himself in on that second floor while the rest of the team will try to figure out if anybody's playing on that first floor. Does not appear that there is anybody off-site. Interestingly enough, Reciprocity have actually decided to bring a castle on the basement, which is not an operator that sees a lot of usage on this site. This is going to be the second time, though, that the castle comes out. If you recall, the castle barricade seemed to be immune to frag grenades on the previous time, which is what caused Canadian to kind of lag behind just by Church. Doing us all a solid favor. Thank you so much for showing that, Jukebox. It is the annoying.
Yeah, if only the music was clear enough, or maybe we could play some Van Halen on the back there. That would be pretty darn nice. But Fox is still downstairs. You see both actually sides of the wall have been reinforced. This will prevent EG to go from the hallway into Armory. So this is like a lot of utility actually dedicated to it. And I wonder where they took away the rest. Actually, yes, they took one reinforced wall in the back of blue. Usually you have that to allow Retro, or usually a Jaeger, which is not present in this case, to hold in and not have to worry about any shots coming in from the back and just be able to contest the opponents from it. So that's where you're taking that away. You're also taking it away from the... oh no, Canadian! The double Pokeball play. Skies and Fox will go down. A huge kill there to take down a Valkyrie and C4, but also the 3 smokes of Fox.
The sound and the fury, as Mark will now also be completely blinded, and that's easy for Geo to walk right in. Laxing cuts through NVK, but all it will do is negate Evil Genius. Evil Geniuses from having a flawless round. I was going to say Evil Genii, actually. But then I didn't realize if that was actually correct, so I stopped, and then I just said it singularly. But I was going to say the Evil Genii. But I have,
Is that like actual thing?
I have no clue. No idea whatsoever. But anyway, this is going to set us up for a possible draw here. So Evil Geniuses have bounced back. They did so well. And Reciprocity have cash open and CCTV if they want to go up there. But instead, it's going to be an opt to go down to church. To be fair, a lot of that church play did hinge upon a pretty freak accident, which was two members of Reciprocity hugging in the corner and then both jumping on the frag grenade together. So because of this, you can imagine that Reciprocity will probably anticipate that buck play. That was the second time Canadian has done that exact same play. He did it once as a buck, and he did it as a sledge. You got to be anticipating that kind of thing and spacing yourself out accordingly, because if you end up playing too close to the church wall, well, then exactly what just happened happens, and that's two you die. Not good. Final round here, though, and we'll go the full distance. Either Reciprocity puts up a victory, and Evil Geniuses suffers their first loss of the season, something that Reciprocity hasn't had yet, or it ends up being a draw for both of these teams, which will benefit Evil Geniuses quite well because they will continue their lead over everybody else in the region.
Now, this is time for our section of Today I Learned, as Genii is actually a thing. However, it is more of a bastardized Latin version of the word, and that's how it came through.
Can you say bastardized on the family?
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser. Attackers are moving out
Big
to
heckin'
locate a
hole,
bomb and
they're coming
defuse
right
it.
up. But still, it's Genii, right? You can actually say that, but say, even when the English word is being used in one of its more common sense, Genii might also be used as a joking plural. So you can actually use it.
Just jokingly.
Yeah, since using fancy Latin plurals for ordinary words can sound funny to English speakers.
I could have said Genii.
You could have. You ruined it.
And Tara was right. Now all I did was say, instead of saying Evil Geniuses, I say Evil Genius, and well, that upsets people. So,
yeah,
anyhow.
I know about that.
So,
well, Devin does, but yes.
So, final round here on match point with Reciprocity still holding the lead, and they're going to run with basically the same thing that they've been running every single time. I kind of admire the gumption on Reciprocity's side of things. They go upstairs to cache CCTV. They use a strategy involving the garage and a very strong 3-2 hold. It doesn't work. They go back. They kind of tinker with it, but for the most part, it stays exactly the same. They persevere, and it wins. This time around, well, similar. You're going to go with something that didn't work the last time, but worked the time before. And what actually happens here with Canadian doing Extreme Home Makeover Edition upstairs, just over top of the main stairs, waiting.
I really want to commend Gio for his plays on the past round. Pretty much holding the mouse button and making sure that everybody is blind on the other side. What also has been done in this round by Reciprocity is that they actually reinforced quite a bit in the back in blue. So, and this time they actually put a bulletproof camera on the other side of the hallway, and you see those two walls are soft and can be used by EG if the need arises. But so far, you see the setup in a more of a take. Also coming in from blue as the Ash is coming in from the opposite end. It's NVK on that. Shield as well being put up for the Jaeger to protect him, playing close up to the bomb in church.
Interestingly here, Canadians' typical pattern of lobbing a frag grenade over top of that church wall has not happened, at least for the time being. Presumably, there will be an ADS or two from Skies there, and there you go. It'll nag one of that, and it'll snag the other as well. And there you go. Skies just walks right in, takes out Necrox, looks for another mark, a great C4, and Reciprocity have victory in their grasps. Foxay taken down, and Young will just twist and turn with 4 more to go. He'll cut one down to Size, but will there be enough time and enough opportunity as every entry in will be stopped and Reciprocity will take the victory? NVK leaves the match before the bodies even hit the ground, and EG will suffer their first loss of the season. In first place is Reciprocity's.
Reciprocity are a team to look out for. No question about it. This is definitely a team that, as we head deeper and deeper into the season, and I think it is fairly time that we start talking about this, we're at the end of Playday number 6. this is where you start dividing the land makers from the ones that are gonna stick around in the middle or face possible relegation. And it's very definite here that Reciprocity show what they're worth, and 16 points on the board means that Dark Zero are 6 points away from them. That is huge. We'll remind you, last season at exactly this point, this team, Reciprocity, that was known formally as Cloud9, had barely any points, sitting on the 8th spot.
To be fair, they did have a 1 or 2 forfeits.
At that point, they only had one.
1 forfeit. They had 2 0-6 losses.
Yeah.
Which are devastating.
Yes, and that's the thing. They got absolutely demolished. And a few of those are actually on Clubhouse. And yet they play here against EG again and are able to find the victory. Absolutely huge for Reciprocity and very commendable effort.
Well, we have for many, many times this season interviewed one beautiful Foxe, and we'll bring him up on the screen here for you. There'll be no fox hunting this time. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm pretty good, man. How are you guys?
We're doing well, about as well as you played in your match today. Going up against Evil Geniuses, what was the impact of this match in particular, knowing that they've sat undefeated? They were the last team in the 3 main regions here on this channel, not including APAC, to not drop a single point. How good does it feel to have them do it at your hands?
I mean, it feels great. I think all the other teams, we were very confident going up against EG. We were very confident too, but of course they're EG. You know, they're always like they're the Titan, and I think this one we're really happy about, and we slayed the Titan, I guess. So I don't know. We feel really good about this one compared to the other one. So
now,
yeah.
Going into this matchup, Clubhouse is a map that has long been in EG's wheelhouse, and it really hasn't been a map that we've seen you play and excel on all that much. What was the thought process behind having it be the site of your match today?
Well, everyone knows EG for being like, you know, the evil geniuses and like adapting and outsmarting people, and I think like we outsmarted them this time. Like we kind of pulled a G2 on them, which seems to be their weakness. So you know, we haven't played Clubhouse practices specifically for this, and came up with a lot of new stuff that I guess caught them by surprise. And yeah, like we completely knew everything they were going to do. They kind of played in our hands. So
would you say you were saving strats for this match then, in that case, on Clubhouse?
Yeah, for sure. We absolutely saved strats, yeah.
Perfect. How much does this mean to you heading into the 6 Invitational as well? Because you're a team that, since adding Skies to the roster, you've made some flexibility and some changes to your roles. How much does this prepare you and psych you up for the group stages in Montreal?
I mean, of course, it's like, you know, really good for us to be able to go into Invitationals with this win. But Invitationals, our group is a completely different thing. We have 2 Latin American teams and an APAC team, so it's completely different from NA's playstyle. We have still a lot of preparation to do, but I think it just helps our confidence going into it, and really proud with how everyone played. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been nice. I feel like I've interviewed you every single play day that I've done so far, but even when I'm doing LATAM and EU, I think you tend to get interviews. But anywho, anything to say to the fans, the sponsors, etc.?
Yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us. We were, you know, 6th place last season. Now we're in 1st place. You know, we still got to play DZ tomorrow, but we appreciate all of it. We're going to see you guys at Invite. Our team is absolutely amazing with Skies on it, so see you guys at Invite.
He always does so well on land, so it'll be a pretty frightening thing for your opponents, I'm sure. Congratulations again, and good luck in your match tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks.